Way too much.
But what's going on, Washington Commander Nation? Today, my special guest, goalie for the Vancouver Whitecaps and product of the 757, Mr. Evan Newton, who's also a big Washington fan. Welcome to the show, man.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Absolutely, man. How are you feeling right now? There's a lot of there's a lot of change going on. We're in the same age demographic. I think you got me by a couple years, but how did this name change and stuff affect you?
Yeah, man. I mean, me and you have been speaking a little bit over the last, month or two, and I was hoping that the little silent leaks were actually silent leaks, and trying to just like sway everybody in the wrong direction. But unfortunately, the name was the Commanders. And I think I'm along with a lot of people. I'm not a huge fan of it. I think I can get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be a name that I can get used to, but not a huge fan. I think we could have, with all the hype, I think we could have done something a little bit more creative and flashy.
Exciting.
But the jerseys are fire though. I think the jerseys are they make up for the lack of name, I think,
So how did you start? How did you get into liking football? How did you get into liking this team? And was it like in your family? Like for me, it was passed down from generations before me. Was it a player? Like how'd you get into being a fan of the football team?
Yeah, mine was similar to you. Mine was a family thing. So my whole family were Redskins fans growing up, and just as a kid in a family that everyone likes the Redskins, it just fell on me as well, and I just became a diehard Redskins fan as well. Unfortunately, I haven't really. I mean, technically, I lived during the glory days when we won, when we were doing well in the early '90s, but I was still very young. I don't actually remember. I remember Art Monk and some of those guys a little bit, but not enough to enjoy it how I'm sure our parents did. So I'm hoping that we can have some glory days at some point in our lives, because it's been it's I love the team to death, but
It's been pain. A lot of pain.
It's been a painful fandom here. But yeah, and it's funny too. My grandfather was a little bit he was a Redskins fan a little bit at the beginning, and then he actually switched to Dallas, and he was a little bit of a fair weather guy. We used to mess with him. Yeah, we used to mess with him.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
But he used to get a lot of slack from everybody in the family. But yeah, man, that's kind of how it started. And there's been times where I wanted to give up, but I just couldn't. I just because to be fair, I'm not a huge NFL fan. Like I play fantasy football and I enjoy that, and that keeps me like engaged. But I wouldn't say I'm like a massive NFL fan. I'm just a huge like Redskins fan. So like wherever I'm at, if the game's not on locally, I'll find a bar or something to watch it. Like I'm a massive now Commanders fan. Sorry, I keep saying Redskins, but
it's all good.
I'm a massive Commanders fan. But like if it's another game on TV, I might stop and watch for a minute, but I'm not really gonna sit there and just watch football games,
Okay, so how hard is it? Because I know you've played all over the place. You've played like how hard is it to find the game when you're in some of these countries and random time zones?
Yeah, no, it's very hard. I played in California for a lot of my career on the West Coast, and no one's showing, Washington games out there unless it's like a
Hell
prime
no.
time, unless it's prime time, which we're not on a whole lot. So, you have to kind of, what I would do is I'd kind of, sniff around, look online, sometimes ask the fans wherever I'm at through social media, like, does anybody know of, a Redskins bar? Except the times there was Redskins. So a couple of times I found, a local bar that was, Redskins friendly bar, and
Mhm.
and you'd actually find, your handful of fans in that particular area on the West Coast. But yeah, and then the other one, I had to download DA's The Zone or whatever.
The zone, yeah.
I had to download that in Canada, to watch all the NFL games on there. So I had that just strictly for Washington, and then also for keep up with fantasy football a little bit.
Okay. So again, I always wonder how this team is received in other places because, like, I haven't done too much traveling in my lifetime, so I'm from a small circle biased perspective, being in the DMV. Do you see Washington fans elsewhere?
Yeah, you don't see a lot of them, but when you do, like, we get hyped. So it was actually funny because as we mentioned off the recording here, like, I'm on loan right now in El Paso. So like I think it was my first or second day here in El Paso. I was at Whole Foods grocery shopping, and there's some dude like decked out in a Redskins jersey, like, a nice white one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was like a Sunday, and we had, the announcement was coming out in like 2 or 3 days or whatever. So me and him, I was like, man, you watch the fan? He's like, yeah. And I was like, me too. And it was like, when you see each other, it's kind of like find a diamond in the rough in a sense. So
Oh,
especially
yeah.
especially the further away from DC you get. Um, but then we always chat for a little bit. We were chatting about the name and what we thought and everything like that for a few minutes. But yeah, you kind of quickly feel like you're at home for a second.
Oh yeah, it's always like family. It's always like a family reunion. You don't even have to know them. If you see the colors,
Yeah,
it's immediate interaction, man. That's
because
always good.
I feel like with a lot of teams like Dallas and things like that, like, you see those everywhere. It's probably not the same, but being like finding a Washington fan, in these parts, especially when you get further west, like, it's kind of like a quick, like, little family moment.
Oh yeah, but as you can see this year, we've went through a whole litany of kickers, man. You ever tried your hand at being a place kicker?
Yeah, I've joked around with it a little bit. My brother, so his senior year of high school, they recruited him for the team because he was a soccer player, and
Hmm.
so I watched him a little bit and, like, went out with him like once to kick, I think, a few times. And then um, once I became a pro, one of the teams I was at, I told him it was my bucket list to try out for at the time the Redskins for Washington when I retire. Um, and to try out just to see. And so they actually got me this media skit with this former NFL kicker and former OU kicker. It was when I was playing in Oklahoma. And his name is Uwe von Schamen. But like, yeah, he was like, that was like the first time I really actually kind of kicked, and he was fairly impressed. So I've always, you know, it's always been on the mind. Like, I wonder, trying it out, like, just to see if I've actually, trained my leg and trained for, 3-4 weeks, if, like, how
How it
much I could
work?
actually, like, compete with some of these guys.
Okay. What was the longest field goal you netted?
I mean, probably like I went wide. I went barely wide from 60, so I had the distance, but
Okay.
I went a little. I went like a couple feet wide from 60. But I've hit like 55, 50, 55, like.
Okay.
But a lot of it is, to be fair, it's like your leg wears out, and even being a soccer player, I'm not like, you're not used to, like, just smashing the ball as hard as you can. It's a lot more
Hmm.
about placement, like placement and things like that. So you're kicking a lot, but your leg's not in. I mean, as a goalkeeper, it's a little bit better shape than maybe some of the players because you're hitting goal kicks sometimes for distance. But
Hmm.
man, when I've gone out kick field goals, man, my leg will wear out after 15, 20. My leg's just done. So I think to really get a good grasp, I need to go out, train, kick 70, 80 balls a day for, 2 or 3 weeks straight, and just get my leg in like good condition to really kind of see what I could actually do.
It's funny because there takes so much timing, practice, and precision to be a good kicker. I used to play high school football, and we always thought the kicker didn't do shit. Like we always thought we always had to bust our ass and run sprints and hit and do all this stuff. And it felt like the kicker was just chilling at practice every day. But it takes so much, and then all the pressure of the game can come down to your leg, despite the fact that you're kind of coming in cold. Like you're on the sidelines warming up and stuff. I know it had to hurt you in your core to see how much kicking problems we had this year, considering you play a sport where you would actually give it a try yourself.
Yeah, man. It looked like, what's this? Is it Joey? Is that Sly's first name?
Yeah, Joey Sly. That's the one we currently got.
Yeah, it looked like he seemed pretty consistent before his little injury, trying to chase down the guy.
Oh yeah, oh man, don't do that. Don't do that. Oh, do you think you can make a tackle as a kicker?
Man, dude. I have a few buddies that played in the league and stuff, and that I've worked out with before, and these guys would trample me. Maybe if it was some small guy that was around the same weight as me, I could at least like drag him down or hit him in the legs or something. But yeah, man, I just think like I've never done it with a full snap and with a line. I mean, I know from my perspective, I think the pressure, I think I would be fine with that. Like being a goalkeeper, like it's a pressure position, like you're either the hero or the GOAT, like similar to a kicker, I guess. So there's a lot of pressure on you kind of for 90 minutes throughout the game. I'm used to pressure. Like I thrive. I love pressure. So in that aspect, obviously it doesn't mean there would never be pressure, but I'm just saying like I would be used to that aspect of the kicking position. But I'd have to get used to like a snap and a hold and massive guys running at me. But I think if you're just focused in and it would just take practice, but I think that's something that I could definitely work on. And who knows, man, it'd just be fun to give it a try. These guys obviously some of these guys can smash the ball, but I feel like if you can just be very consistent from 45 and in, man, like you can have a good career.
Absolutely, a short game, because those weren't even promised for Washington this year, man. We were missing 30-yard kicks and extra points, Dustin Hopkins, but we're not going to go there. But I'm sure you could do a better job. I don't mean to have you slam another professional athlete, but that Chris Blewett experiment was really bad for us this year. Like his kicks weren't clearing the snapper's helmet, man.
Yeah, and I just found it like ironic his last name as well. I feel like you just can't. It's just tough to sign someone with that kind of last name. You know what I mean?
Only us, man. Only us. But did you have any ODU bias when it came to Taylor Heineke? Like, were you like hoping like, yes, this has to be the guy because that's your alma mater?
I don't think so, because I don't really care about ODU football, to be honest with you. And that might sound bad, but I think part of it was like it might be a little bit of me being salty still from like college, because when I was at ODU, the soccer team and the basketball team were like the two big teams there. Like we were doing very well nationally and stuff, and in terms of popularity around the campus and the area. And then football kind of came in my junior year, and and obviously it kind of blew up a little, just a little bit. We still had, the soccer team and basketball team were still highly respected, but football came on, and some of the and they were like terrible, man. Like if we're just honest, they were playing. It was like the first game was against like Chowan. I think our soccer team could have played Chowan in football and potentially like gave them a challenge. So it was kind of one of those things where I think I'm a little bit just salty, but I want it. Like I've heard he's a good guy. I've never met him before. I have a couple of ex teammates from ODU that were buddies with him that were a little younger than me that were with him in school, and they all spoke highly of him. He seems like a good dude, from just down to earth guy. So I wish him the best, just from as a person, and I and it helps from the alma mater, little bragging rights, I guess. But yeah, in terms of ODU football, like I wish them well, but I don't really have like I'm not
Hey
really
man,
like
I
I'm
feel
not
the
really.
same about my high school, man. When I was in high school, we were the new high school football team. Our football program had only been there for 4 years. So my senior year as a captain, we lost every single game. And I'm watching them go to state championships and go undefeated and shit now. I'm extra salty, bro. Like it makes me so
Yeah,
upset. The pettiness in me, man.
yeah. I mean, it's just me being real, like, and we are it it was just funny, because maybe it was some of the other guys that gave it a bad, some of these guys that were in the first few years that just walked around like they were like awesome, but they were playing, they were like a crappy FBS team for like a year or two, and then they ended up becoming a really good FBS team, and that team, that was kind of like when Heineke started like coming in and doing some
Lighten it
stuff.
up.
Yeah, and then they ended up going, FCS. So yeah, man. I mean, if they're playing, I wish them well, but I don't have like any close ties. Like I'm not some like going crazy for ODU football or anything.
Yep, and that pretty much ends the questions too, because we know Taylor's a great guy. He's not the answer here at quarterback. What would your solution be to our quarterback situation?
Yeah, I mean, I think with the money that we have, I think we need. In my opinion, I think I would say there's two main spots we need to, I think, lock down in free agency. I think it would be beneficial for us personally to go like spend the money on some experience. And I think that's like middle linebacker,
Oh, for
and,
sure.
and I think, and then obviously quarterback. And I would put quarterback first as the main. That's our main priority, I think. So I don't know. I mean, everyone's hyping Russell Wilson right now. I wouldn't be mad if we got Russell. I mean, I think secretly I love like Aaron Rodgers. I think it would just be like
Oh, I love Rodgers too.
that'd be like
My God.
that'd be like an absolute just like splash, like we're here. So I don't I don't know, man. I hope it's not like a Garoppolo or like
Oh God, please God, no.
I know they were talking about Mitch Trubisky, and I was like, man, like
Also,
if
God, no.
that's not a splash. That's just another like hopeful. So I think we need to go spend the money. I mean, I wouldn't mind Derek Carr. I think we can. I would like to do a little bit better, but I think Derek Carr could still like, really improve our situation. Um, but yeah, I would like to see like a Russ or
Rodgers.
Rodgers. Probably Rodgers would be my like.
Rodgers or Rush and pre allegations, Deshaun Watson, but we can't touch that situation right now.
Yeah, he would be a. I mean, he just gives you both, but um, but I mean, yeah, I think, man, I think we have. I would, and I think that third spot, if we could add one more, maybe receiver, um, and just I think our offensive line was very impressive this year. I'm sure they're going to continue to make sure that's strong, even if we lose Brandon Sheriff, and so I don't know, man. I think middle linebacker is huge, though. I think our and maybe like a safety. So I guess that'd be four. I
A
like
real
that.
free safety, yep.
Yeah, I like. I mean, my guy is Cam Curl at the strong safety. Like, I mean, I've already told my wife. I said, hey, that's what I want. I don't really ever have a jersey. I have like a shirt from on the daily WFT on the daily
Oh my
Instagram.
guys, shout out Ray. Shout out my guys
Yeah,
over there.
he sent me a shirt. I've only had one jersey in my Washington career, and then and just a couple of shirts. My one jersey was an RG3 because he was just like lighting it up that year before
He
we
was larger than life. Which so who you copping and what color? So you said a curl. What color jersey you copping?
I'm going Curl because that's my guy, dude. I think Curl. I'm that kind of guy. I like I don't like to have what everybody else has. I think I just respect Curl a lot. I think he's like actually a stud, and he does a lot more than he gets credit for on our defense. So I'm gonna go him and probably. I mean, the white's fire, but I'll probably just go standard
Burgundy and gold.
You know.
Okay.
So I
Yeah,
told my wife that's all I want. That's all I want for my birthday coming up in April. It's just a New Jersey with a little cam curl on it. So if he listens to this, then respect my man. So
hey,
and he's the guy I hope we keep around for the majority of his career. But I think another guy to pair with him, a middle linebacker. I think
and a receiver
receiver in a corner. I mean, man, if Samuel could have stayed healthy, I think he could have really helped. But I don't think we can rely on him to do that. I think we need to still find somebody. And then if he is healthy, it's just now we got 3 studs. So.
Yep, and even with those glaring holes, I think we have the roster that, if healthy, we're in a good enough position to go all in on a quarterback right now. But yeah, man, I appreciate you for coming on with me today, man. You can let people know where to find you on social media and where they can check you out. You'll be on loan for the El Paso Locomotives this fall, right? When do you start?
Yeah, so we're actually here now. We started preseason. And we'll start up in March. Early March is the first game. So yeah, I'm on loan here for the season, and then I'll be in free agency next year, and seeing what happens for that. But yeah, man, if you want, you guys can find me on Instagram. I'm Fig Newts, like a Fig Newton. So just Fig Newts on Instagram, and then Twitter, I'm Newton Evan 13. So. But yeah, man, I appreciate you having me on, and we'll obviously continue to chat as the years go. But hopefully, we can make a little splash here in the off season. I think we have a really, really good nucleus. If we can just add a couple pieces to do a little something in the future here.
Absolutely. And when you're a free agent next year, man, maybe you could throw your hat in the ring and get a field goal audition, man. I'll pass this along to Martin Mayhew, Ron, Jason, whoever I got to.
Yeah, man. I don't know who I got to talk to get in the football world, but if they ever want to just have me out to see if I have potential, let me know.
I promise you, here we've seen worse. But that's going to wrap for today's Rambling with Rio. Until next time, hail to the Washington Commanders. Deuces.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me, bro.
Yes, sir. Have a good one, buddy.